Hi, Emma, and hello to our fleets and our brokers who are dialing in and watching this webinar. Emma, so happy to have you on. We've got about 25 minutes, I think, to talk through the newly announced, just as of last week, Flock and Admiral Pioneer partnership. What we want to do today is just demystify the partnership a bit, talk about some of the most important elements of the partnership and what this means predominantly for our fleets and for our brokers. Hopefully introduce our audience to Admiral, who they obviously already know, and Admiral Pioneer, and to you, Emma, and to answer also some of the most important questions that we've already received from our broker community at Flock and from some of our fleet customers about what this means for them, and more importantly, how this will hopefully help them in the coming years. So we're going to do a quick kind of Q&A. I've got a bunch of questions for you. I think you've got some questions for me. Why don't we just start off with a very quick introduction to you, Emma? Tell us a bit about you, tell us a bit about Admiral, and tell us a bit about Admiral Pioneer.
Great. Hi, Ed. It's fantastic to be here. And thank you to everyone who's watching this webinar. I'm also super delighted about the partnership between Admiral Pioneer and Flock that we announced earlier last week. And can't wait to tell you more about it. So I am Emma Huntington. I lead Admiral Pioneer, which is the venture building arm of Admiral. My background, very briefly, is I've been building new things, businesses, propositions for corporates for the last probably more time than I would like to say, but at least 15 years, both here and in Australia. You'll all know Admiral, I'm sure. So Admiral is an international business. We have over 9 million customers, 11,000 employees, a 4.8 billion turnover last year, based in Cardiff, but very international. But I guess what's most important to know is that the ethos behind Admiral, it's extremely focused on, or we're extremely focused on customer service. And that really comes from our founders who wanted to create an exceptional culture within Admiral. Everybody in Admiral feels like an owner. And that really is, we have huge pride in our business in Admiral, and that really feels it. It's not just words. You actually, when you work for Admiral and you're inside of Admiral, that's how you feel. And that's what we want to bring to this partnership with Flock. Pioneer was created 4 years ago, and this is a real desire for Admiral to diversify beyond motor insurance. And we're doing that in a couple of ways. So that's by extending our products inside of Admiral Insurance to our existing customers. And then also through Pioneer, we're looking at new customer segments. And of course, that includes fleet, which is why we're here and why we've created our partnership with Flock.
Which is a nice segue to my first question, Emma. Obviously, Admiral, one of the most established, well-known, well-loved brands in insurance in the UK. But when it comes to motor, obviously predominantly historically focused on personal lines. This is a big decision from Admiral to move into fleet. So talk us through that decision. What is it about fleet now in particular that has enticed Admiral and Admiral Pioneer to launch this suite of products with Flock?
Yes, sure. So within Pioneer, as I mentioned, we're always looking at new customer segments. Fleet has been of interest to us for some time, and I'm sure you can guess why, because Admiral has this deep expertise in personal motor. So fleet has been an area that we've looked at for some time. It's a growing opportunity. It's certainly one that is very dynamic, multiple growth segments that is super exciting for Admiral. And then when we met the Flock team, we realized that there was a huge opportunity with the Flock proposition to create a fleet model for the future. So one that's very much focused around data, prevention, and basically making fleets safer, and how that Flock model could enable that, coupled with the Admiral capabilities and the Pioneer capabilities. And so that's why now, and that's why we've come together to create this partnership. Yeah.
And let's talk about the partnership then. So help our broker community and our fleets understand what is this partnership? What does it actually mean?
Yeah.
What is Admiral providing to Flock? And what are the kind of the key takeaways that someone watching this should leave with when it comes to understanding what this partnership is?
Sure. So in practical terms, we've created a long-term, so a 5-year capacity partnership with the Flock team through Admiral Pioneer. And this is a deep partnership. So this is where we will be sharing our expertise across the two businesses. And we'll also be learning together and developing together around our propositions that will all be centered around our customers. So all centered around the needs of fleets and our brokers. And by bringing the expertise of Admiral and Flock together, we believe we can create the market leading fleet proposition. And that's the aim of the partnership, and long term in nature, such that we're very much committed to this market and to show the fleets and brokers that we're committed to this market. Cool. So can I ask you a question now, Ed?
Yeah.
So what makes this partnership unique from a Flock perspective?
There's a few things, and there are a few reasons why Admiral was such an interesting partner for Flock to choose. So I'll go through them. The first one was we knew it already, but it became very, very obvious to us throughout the process of partnering. The absolute obsession that Admiral has for its customers. And just to make this, very pragmatic, as part of the process of partnering, we actually got multiple brokers into the room and multiple fleet customers and multiple individuals within specific fleet customers to come and talk to Flock and Admiral together about what they want to see from the partnership and what kind of products they want us to launch in, what kind of segments they want us to launch in, what kind of features they want us to launch, and in what priority order. That's a really unique experience for Flock, partnering with an insurance company who has that level of obsession. There are some other capabilities, and you touched on a few of these, that Admiral bring that I think makes this quite unique and quite special, and something that we're very, very excited about. So the first one is, obviously, when it comes to motor, Admiral and motor are almost synonymous. Admiral understand motor as well as any other carrier on the planet. As you mentioned, millions of customers, billions of miles of driving data. I can't remember how many billions of miles that you collected through your telematics teams and devices. That's the next point. Obviously, central to Flock, to our proposition, to our ability to deliver value to customers, is a relatively unique approach that we've adopted and built and launched at Flock, which is telematics-led fleet insurance. We require our customers to be connected via telematics devices, and we use that data to not only price insurance, but also provide insights back to our customers and help them become safer. Admiral have such a deep understanding of the world of telematics. You have been the pioneers in this space. You've been doing this for 12 years. Millions of customers are now connected with telematics devices. Just a couple of other kind of unique elements of the partnership. Claims. Claims is something that obviously, as a fleet, you dread to some extent, because if you can avoid, the best claims experience is no claims experience. But when it comes to having a claim, you want to feel looked after, you want to feel respected, you want to have a process that's reliable and fast. And Admiral smashed this out the park, I think is a fair way to describe it. One of the, if not the most well-regarded claims capabilities in the country, and proven over millions of claims over multiple decades. So being able to bring that expertise and that knowledge and help our customers, our fleets, benefit from that is very, very powerful. And it's a capability that, we're a small business. We work incredibly hard, but we can't get over the fact that there's only a small number of us when compared to the 11,000 people in Admiral. And for a business of our size to be able to lean on and benefit from and learn from that level of experience is really unique. And it's something that we're obviously incredibly excited about. The other final piece I'll just mention is the 5-year nature of the partnership is really, really important. We hear time and time again from brokers, from fleets, that one of the things they care about most is bringing stability to what is fundamentally a very, very volatile market. The world of commercial motor has been highly volatile, especially in the last few years, post-COVID. And a 5-year partnership brings stability, it brings longevity. Brokers and fleets can know that they're going to be dealing with one partner who will behave in a reliable fashion for a long period of time. That's great for brokers. It means that they don't have to shop around every single year, and it reduces the volatility in the market for brokers. It's also nice for customers to understand that they can work with Flock and our capacity provider Admiral for a prolonged period of time. We as a partnership will understand that customer more deeply. We'll have a view of that customer's behavior and data and driving patterns that we can then use to inform future renewals. And the whole power of Flock's technology and proposition is that safer fleets pay less. So our intention as a partnership is to provide these fleets with the insights, the tools, the technologies, the face-to-face safety sessions that help them understand and hopefully mitigate their risk over time. So they can drive safer, have fewer claims, and ultimately save money. And if those customers can know that there's a long-term partnership supporting that approach, it provides them with the stability that they need, the pricing stability that they need to be able to do what they do best, which is not spend all year thinking about insurance, but actually spend all year running a fantastic fleet, helping their drivers become safer over time, getting their deliveries delivered on time, all the things that they should be worrying about other than purchasing insurance and all of the administration associated with it. So
great. I think that's fantastic answers to that question.
So Emma, I've outlined why Admiral is the obvious choice for Flock to partner with. Help our audience understand the inverse to that. Why has Admiral chosen to partner with Flock?
Well, I think it comes back to something we've talked about already, which is both of us are incredibly willing and have a huge desire to listen to our customers and brokers that serve our customers. And that is quite unique. And it's one of those things, I think, that it's easy to say we listen to our customers, but actually doing that and then designing a proposition around them is so hard. And when we met Flock and understood more about the business, the Flock business model, we realized that you actually do that incredibly well. It is true to the heart of the business that you've created and the proposition you've created. And that's exactly what we try to do in Admiral Pioneer. And so the businesses we have in Admiral Pioneer, you should be able to notice when you work with one of our businesses, or if you're a customer of one of our businesses, that we have this massive focus on designing for our customers and with them. And that's what Flock do as well. So it creates this unique partnership, which is Flock with Admiral Pioneer, but also the backing and the expertise and the power of Admiral sitting behind that. So that's what for us why it's so compelling and exciting to have created this partnership. So Ed, I'd love to understand more about the segments that we will go into with this partnerships, and a little bit more about the sort of future expansion plans that we have.
Yes, so I mentioned earlier how important that continuity piece is for fleets and brokers. And one of the things that we were really keen to achieve when we worked on this partnership with Admiral is to maintain continuity across our existing segments, so that we didn't leave brokers or fleets high and dry without the capacity that they require. So I'm obviously very pleased to say that we've achieved that with Admiral. And essentially, it's business as usual in terms of the segments that we cover. I'll do a very quick recap to make sure that we cover off those segments. So courier, and this includes delivery platforms, so the likes of Amazon or DPD, Every, and there are many others. But it also includes independent courier businesses as well. We love both, and we work with hundreds of courier fleets across our book. And Admiral will very kindly be providing capacity to make sure that we can continue to ensure that segment. The next is own goods fleets of all shapes and sizes, and there's a huge variety of own goods or trade fleets in the UK. Again, we'll be continuing our coverage of these kinds of fleets. And finally, short-term rental fleets. Some of our largest customers at Flock are short-term rental fleets. So these are vehicles that a member of the general public might want to access for a day, a weekend, a week. In fact, anything under a month will specifically be covering with Admiral. We've got the same levels of restrictions as we've always had, which have been quite intentional. So the most notable is our minimum fleet size. We've always decided at Flock to have a minimum fleet size of 10 vehicles, and we're continuing with the 10 vehicle minimum fleet size. The rationale behind this ties in quite deeply with the proposition that we've built and have continued to build with Admiral, and will continue to innovate with Admiral, which is that, core to our proposition is this concept of safer fleets pay less. And we enable that and unlock that by working with fleets to connect their vehicles, make sure their fleets are connected to telematics devices that are broadcasting data to Flock, so that we can then use the insights that we extract from those telematics devices to help their fleet managers and their drivers become safer over time. We've noticed that it's much harder to achieve this with smaller fleets of, say, 4 or 5 vehicles. They're less likely to be connected in the first place. They're less likely to want telematics, and they're less likely to have a fleet manager. That's not to say that none of those fleets hit those criteria. Certainly some of them do. We have worked with those fleets in the past, but generally where we want to focus our time and attention as a partnership, it's on those medium to large fleets of 10 vehicles and above. This appetite that we've designed with Admiral, as you mentioned, is very likely to expand. We've established already there's a high appetite for growth amongst both Flockers and the Admiral employees working on this partnership. We very much want this partnership to grow over time. And so we expect that appetite to expand, both in the segments that we've mentioned, but also into new segments entirely. Our marketing team have told me to mention that we host a live version of our appetite guide on flockcover.com/appetite. So you can just find it on our website. You can go to flockcover.com/appetite. And when we do change our appetite, we update it on there, and we also obviously let all of our brokers know. So we'll let you know with a kind of an email update if that appetite changes. But for now, very much business as usual. We absolutely love these segments. We've been working across these segments for several years, lots of experience in these segments, and now obviously with the Admiral partnership, not only able to continue covering them, but bring all of those benefits that we talked about that Admiral bring to the table to those fleets we're already working with and to a whole universe of new fleets as well.
Yeah.
Emma, I'd love to talk a bit about technology. So how do these concepts, being technology or data driven, from Flock's perspective and Admiral's perspective, how do they come together to actually help fleets and brokers, which is what we really want to achieve?
Sure. And, it's really impressive. The Flock technology that enables the proposition is really, really impressive. And that was one of the first things that we noticed. And when we started to understand and dig deeper into the tech and data environment that you've created, that confirmed for us the strength of this model that you're delivering out to the market. And you're right. The same is true for Admiral. I mean, Admiral's very innovative, always has been. If you think about something like our multi-product and the tech and data that enables that, we were first to market with that within Admiral, and now keep extending that across our different product lines. And so that's just one example of where Admiral's been really strong at innovating and delivering technology at scale. And that's the hard part, right? It's to do these things at scale is really difficult. And so then if you think about what Flock's doing, what you're doing, and then you think about our expertise in claims management, in pricing, in telematics, I think we've talked about this between us in terms of number of miles of telematics miles that we have data for. We've been to the sun multiple times and back. So that it really is a powerful combination to bring together those two sets of expertise that between the groups. And as I mentioned before, I think the Admiral Pioneer business has deep expertise in those areas as well, and is enabled to partner with Flock to deploy them. So yeah, that's how I see it coming together.
And Emma, it's all very well having technology and data, but we want to help as many customers as possible. So I think something on, this is a question that certainly came from many of our brokers in the run-up to this webinar.
Yes.
Many of our brokers want to know, what are our growth aspirations as a partnership?
So we want to have a big impact on the fleet market. And that is the point of doing this partnership. We want to have a big impact. We do have a wide appetite for fleets. So the fleets that you talked about earlier, Ed, whether that's couriers, long and short-term rentals, own goods, etc., they are all areas where we have an appetite within this partnership. And so, yeah, we want to have a big impact, but we also have to make sure that this is a sustainable model. So we're in it for the long term. We need it to be sustainable. We need to work with Flock and with our customers and broker partners to develop our propositions, to make sure that we can enter new segments and we can do that successfully. So that's going to be a massive focus for us, literally from now, to make that partnership work so that we can extend absolutely in a sustainable way, but where into new fleets. And it's really exciting to be in this position to be able to do it. So I think I have a question more for you, Ed. What will the product development look like for this partnership?
So one of the areas that we're investing most of our time and resource at the moment is understanding how we can improve the product. And the product for us is not only the insurance wording, it's also the digital experience that our customers receive, our brokers receive. One of the areas we're most excited about is maximizing the value that we can give to fleet customers from the telematics data that we collect. The more detailed and highly granular and accurate that telematics data is, the more accurate and ultimately actionable and useful the insights are that we can give to our customers. And if we understand with a high level of accuracy how high risk every single one of a fleet's drivers is, then we can sit down with our customers at a face-to-face safety review session, which we currently host regularly with all of our fleet customers. And we can provide them with that insight. We can talk through each of these drivers in turn. We can talk through the specific journeys that these drivers are taking, and we can point to specific instances in specific journeys whereby a driver may have driven in a way, whether it's speeding or the way that they took a corner, that actually caused a disproportionate amount of risk as compared to other drivers or other segments of road or other journeys in that fleet's life cycle. So we're investing quite heavily in making sure that we have access to that data, that data is reliable, and that data is then visualized in a way which is really crisp and clear and easy to understand, that fleet managers can review that data themselves, and that we can then go and have those discussions empowered by that data and that insight. There's more that can be done with that data as well. And so to give a sneak preview of the kind of technology that we're hoping to build, AFNOL, so automated first notification of loss, is something that's really, really exciting for us and for our fleets. We can use telemetry data that we're pulling from vehicles in real time to automatically identify when an incident has occurred. And we can then use that information to do several things. For example, we could get in touch directly with the fleet manager automatically the instant that we believe a crash may have occurred, and we can let them know, hey, we believe that an incident has taken place. Here's the vehicle that we think it happened in. Here's the location where we think it happened. You might want to get in touch with the driver and check in on them as soon as possible. The fleets themselves, the faster they're able to intervene and log that a claim has happened, ultimately, the lower the cost of that claim. This is something we're really, really focused on at Flock, and the use of this telematics data to enable that to happen faster, even within an hour, is incredibly powerful. And it's perfect timing with Admiral coming on board, because this is something that Admiral has perfected over the last 10 years in your personal lines book. We've got a large team of people who have figured out how to do this at scale, as you mentioned, and we're able to draw on and benefit from that expertise. So lots of room for product development across the entire life cycle of the customer, as I mentioned, but a big focus on safety, a big focus on risk management at scale for our fleets, and obviously heavy involvement from our brokers across that entire process.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So just another question from me, Ed. If brokers are currently not yet engaging directly with Flock, how can they do that? How can they set up trading with you?
Very easily. We try and make it a seamless and painless experience. So brokers can just get in touch with us via our website. We've got our phone number on there. We've got a very simple form that brokers can fill out. And we've got a dedicated BDM team who focus on finding brokers to work with, onboarding new brokers, making sure that they're set up with Flock to start trading as quickly as possible. Sometimes brokers come to us, and our first interaction with a broker will be that they bring a fleet that they want to land with Flock, and we need to get up and running in 24 hours. So we're very willing and ready to move quickly when a broker comes and wants to work with Flock. Ultimately, we succeed if our brokers succeed. And so what's really important for us is not just getting a broker set up and running with Flock and then leaving them to it, but actually providing them with everything they need to succeed in the sale process and also in the policy lifecycle and customer management process. So that's providing them with documentation, it's educating them about the product, it's teaching them how to sell the product. There are some benefits to the Flock product that we're incredibly proud of, and we don't want customers to only realize that those benefits exist after being bound. We'd love for brokers to really understand how we help our customers succeed, and for them to teach our customers that as well. So the BDM team at Flock is really focused on actually educating brokers and working with brokers, getting feedback from brokers throughout the onboarding process, so that they can be as effective as possible when working with customers and when selling to customers. So on our website, there are phone numbers there.
Well, that sounds very easy and straightforward.
And Emma, I think we're probably coming to the end of our time. I'm not sure if we've gone under or over. I think we've covered a lot of topics there. And what I really hope people take away from this, if I'm thinking about some of the topics we've covered, for me, what stands out is the value that Admiral bring to the fleet market. I think the fleet market has craves an insurer like Admiral saying explicitly, as you have done, that you want to make a big impact and that you're committing yourself to this industry for the long haul. A 5-year relationship with Flock gives us a lot of time to deeply understand the sector, understand fleets, understand brokers, and build innovations which aren't just valuable for the next few months, but actually sometimes take time and will be here for a long time. It provides customers with a high degree of stability, brokers with a high degree of stability, knowing that Admiral have committed to this sector for a 5-year period as well. And you bring all the benefits that you have so successfully deployed in the world of personal lines. A leading claims understanding, billions of miles of telemetry data, and a degree of customer obsession that really, really stood out to Flock throughout the process. And my deep hope is that as a partnership, we can continue to learn and actually deeply understand our brokers and our customers' needs even better as those needs evolve over time.
Right.
I don't think we are not perfect. We never will be perfect. I think that we have to be honest and accept that as long as we're customer obsessed, that we can continue to learn and evolve the proposition as a partnership. Then we're hopefully in a very good place. Anything you'd like to add, Emma?
I guess one thing I should have said at the beginning was the deep work we've done together over the last X months to understand each other's business has been so valuable. And the audience may or may not know that Admiral doesn't do partnerships lightly. We're quite picky with the people that we partner with, and so I think it's testament to how impressive your model is and your businesses and your people are. I think we have fantastic people as well, within Admiral and within Admiral Pioneer, and so it's for that reason that we've come together into this partnership. I guess emphasizing how much work we've done in the background to get to this point, and then the belief that we can make it hugely successful for the people who are watching this webinar. So yeah, I'm feeling very positive. And thank you for inviting me to talk to your audience.
It's our pleasure, Emma. And in terms of what happens next, so how can our audience stay updated with the developments over the next 6 months, because it's going to be a very, very busy 6 months in the run up to the end of the year and beyond. I've been told again by our marketing team that I should say the following things. So they should follow our LinkedIn page, Flock's LinkedIn page, where we post regular updates. We post all of our product updates. We post appetite updates. If we do more things like this, we keep people posted via LinkedIn. You can subscribe to our newsletter there as well. We know that a lot of questions are going to come out of this webinar. We've tried our best to answer the questions that have come in already, but I know that this will get, will generate discussion and more questions will come out of it. And so what we've decided to do, Flock and Admiral, is actually organize another webinar, which will be very detail focused and trading focused as well. So it will be predominantly for our broker community. We'll have underwriters from the Flock team, BDMs, and also underwriters from the Admiral team coming together to answer all of the questions that emerge. That will be later this month, so that gives brokers a bit of time to submit questions to us via whatever forum they would like. Get in touch with our BDMs, get in touch with myself through our website, email us, call us, carrier pigeon, whatever it is. Get us your questions, and we'll do our absolute best to answer those at the next webinar. And I think we'll leave it there. It's been real pleasure talking to you, Emma. And I think you've done a really helpful job of helping our community understand your commitment to the space and what you bring to the space. And to everyone dialing in from home, I hope this was useful. If you're still on the webinar, well done making it this far. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon, Emma. If you're up for it, we'd love to do this again.
Of course. Thank you, Ed. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.